man-eating wolf? Shit, yeah. One weekend night in Idaho, my BF at the time and I went to a show in Boise. It was one of my first times driving to Boise. So on our way home late at night, we got lost. We had no idea where we were. So I decided to try and turn around and backtrack. We were at a four-way stoplight and turned left into this area that looked like a good spot, but it brought us into this weird gated community with nowhere to turn around. So I kept driving, thinking I'll just come right out the other side of the community. The whole thing was really strange and just got stranger and stranger as we drove straight through. The first thing we noticed right away, there were literally no lights on anywhere, not one house light or street light. It was pitch dark aside from my headlights. So the trees kept getting thicker until we couldn't even see the sky. It was dead silent and still. It wasn't even that late yet, like 12 or 1. I am. So as we keep going, I noticed something up ahead. It was a large body on the left side, almost in the middle of this small road. And as we get closer and closer to this body, I realize what it is. It's some type of animal standing over another body on the ground. We start kind of freaking out because we have to drive right by this scene to get through. Couldn't turn around because the road was so small. So knowing that's my only option, I continue, even slower this time. We told ourselves, oh, it's just Mother Nature, circle of life. We're okay. I continue to drive towards it. Then I start shaking because as we get near it, we could see that it was actually huge, very tall legs. We are freaking out and I'm trying to be brave as the driver. I have our life in our hands, I think to myself, and so I'll still get you towards this very, very large animal and as it gets closer. I roll my window up. That's how close we are to this animal. I could almost reach out and pet it. And I can still picture what happened next. That image will never leave my mind. The animal was even bigger than we thought. Way bigger than a man and taller than a car. And I was staring, I couldn't look away, and my eyes wide as hell because they can't even believe what they saw next. Right as I am next to it, it lifts its head up from this other body, and I swear to you, with so much thick liquid, pretty sure it was blood, but it was so dark. It looked like dark, dripping off his face and mouth. And it smiles at me with all his bloody, sharp teeth, grinning, and his eyes were fucking glowing bright white. And like I said, there were no lights anywhere. My headlights were not even the reason for his eyes reflecting like that. I don't even remember how we got home. I don't remember much after that, but I know it was one of the wildest things I ever seen. And we got home safely, but I still have nightmares of that thing. But whistling at 1:30 a.m. So I got home from my boyfriend's house around 1:30 a.m. on Friday. I park my car down the road from my house since we don't have space. As I get to my walkway to the front door of my house, I hear a short 1-2 whistle. Not like wolf whistling, but a very quick one, like when you're trying getting someone's attention. I stop and look around, and I can't see anyone or hear anyone moving. I'm pretty familiar with my neighbors, and we're in a small dead-end street. And in the 10 years we've lived here, they've never done this sort of thing, so I think I can rule them out. Anyway, as I go up to the top step of the landing, I hear the whistle again. I stop, look around, and again I see and hear nothing. I felt my heart start to race low, and I turn my back to put my key in the door. And as I'm putting my key in the lock, I hear the FK9 whistle again. But it sounded closer, or like it came from a slightly different direction. Still from behind me, but closer to where I was. I have never opened my door so F-Ken fast. I peeked through the windows to the side and still couldn't see who it could have been. Next day, I tell my family and boyfriend over dinner about the whistling, and they all said, oh, it's that bird, that noisy bird. And yes, there is a noisy bird in our area that makes noise at day and night. However, it's not a whistle as such. It does more of a high-pitched tune that's goes for like 2-3 seconds. It's a distinct noise, and it sounds nothing like a normal whistle. And off, I can distinguish the two because I've heard this bird all day, every day for a few months now. My Fast forward to this morning, my mom messages me, says my sister heard whistling last night. Before she could send her next message, I said, if you're going to say it's a bird, it's not. She said, my sister told her it definitely came from a person and it was like a song, but not that bird we were talking about. It was a person. And my sister said she heard it at 4 IME and thought someone was in the house. It was that clear and wanted to scream but was too scared. IDK, maybe it's a new bird that's flown to our neighborhood, but in the years we've been here, no one in the family has mentioned any creepy things like whistling in the night. And for it to happen a couple times within the space of 1 week, IDK, man. Weird. If anyone has heard of similar stuff happening in the middle of the night like this, let me know. Repack. Heard the whistling last night. Not the initial whistle from a week ago. I heard the sing-song whistle that my sister heard. It was loud and clear enough to wake me from my sleep around 3:30 a.m. I sat up and stopped to listen. It was a tune. I tried to hear if it was a song and then maybe I could recognize it. It was not anything I recognized. It's creepy hearing it so clearly. I can't believe I woke up from it. It didn't sound like it was coming from inside, but very close to my house. Outside on my side of the house, I told my mom, and now she's all freaked out because 2 of us have heard it. What if someone is lurking around the house and all that? My dad being big, strong, macho man, nothing scares me, is telling us it's the neighbors or birds and to relax. Now, can't be scared. Fur-covered creature. So this just happened, and I'm still a little shaken by it, but need to share. Every year, my grandmother gets us a spot at this RV park to visit the beach, and nearby it, there's a state park. So my friend and I decided to jog the one trail, but started later than usual and ended up jogging to this bridge thing where we talked for a while. My friend tells me how he has an extremely good sense of danger. As we start jogging back, I started playing a video through my earbuds, and I had to start talking. And my friend tells me that he just got this extremely bad feeling of danger and turns toward me. He then says, I think I just saw something black in the field over the route. I turned to where he was looking and see what looked like a creature on all fours with dark black fur, standing sort of like a black cat, with the center of its back slightly arched, standing at about 4 feet tall. And as I looked at it, I got this overwhelming sense of fear, like fear and dread. I quietly tell him, I see it too, let's go. And we start sprinting in the trail, the sense of dread dying down until I look back at it. It boils right back up again. We keep sprinting until we reach the road, at which point I try to keep a good pace because we're not out of the state park yet. And once we cross the park boundary, my friend tells me that every time he looked back, he saw a black creature dive into the woods. Any ideas on what this thing is?